The rain fell hard on the dirty streets of New Seoul Station. Water poured down from the sky like someone had opened a giant bucket above the city. Tae-young pulled his thin jacket closer to his body, but it did not help much. The jacket was old and full of holes. The rain soaked through to his skin within minutes. His feet hurt. His back hurt. Everything hurt. Tae-young had been working for 16 hours straight today. He delivered packages in the morning, washed dishes at a restaurant during lunch, and carried cargo boxes at the spaceport until night. 3 jobs every day, 7 days a week. This was his life. The young man was only 19 years old, but he looked older. His face showed the tiredness of someone who never got enough sleep. His hands were rough and covered with small cuts from handling sharp boxes and hot dishes. But his eyes were still kind. Despite everything, Tae-young had not lost his heart. He walked slowly toward the small noodle shop on the corner. His stomach made angry noises. He had not eaten anything since breakfast, which was just a piece of bread and some water. Now at 10 o'clock at night, he finally had enough credits to buy 1 bowl of cheap noodles. The shop owner, an old human woman named Mrs. Park, gave him a sad smile when he walked in. She knew Tae-young well. He came here almost every night, always buying the smallest, cheapest thing on the menu. 1 bowl of vegetable noodles, Tae-young said quietly. He placed his payment card on the counter. The machine beeped and took away almost all the money he earned today. Tomorrow he would do it all again. Mrs. Park packed the noodles in a plastic container. The steam rose up and the smell made Tae-young's stomach hurt even more with hunger. She added an extra dumpling inside but pretended not to notice when Tae-young looked surprised. "Thank you," he whispered. He knew she was being kind. Every little bit of kindness mattered when you had nothing. Tae-young stepped back into the rain. He planned to eat the noodles when he got home to his tiny pod apartment, which was still a 15-minute walk away. The hot food would taste so good after such a long, cold day. Then he saw something move in the alley next to the noodle shop. At first he thought it was just garbage blowing in the wind. But then he heard a sound. A small, sad sound, like someone in pain. Tae-young stopped walking. He should keep going. He should mind his own business. The lower districts were dangerous at night. Strange things happened in dark alleys. People said you should never stop, never look, never get involved. But Tae-young could not help himself. He took a step toward the alley. In the darkness, sitting against the wet wall, was an alien. Tae-young had seen many aliens before. Earth's spaceport district was full of them. But this one was different. The alien was tall, even while sitting down. His skin glowed with a soft silver light, but the glow was weak, like a dying battery. He wore robes that might have been beautiful once, but now they were torn and dirty. The alien was a Velthari. Tae-young recognized the species from pictures. They were supposed to be elegant and proud. This one looked sick and hungry. The alien's head lifted slowly. His eyes met Tae-young's eyes. Those eyes were strange and beautiful. They had no pupils, just swirling colors like a galaxy. Right now, those galaxy eyes looked very sad and very tired. "Sorry," the alien said in broken galactic common. His voice was soft and old. "I did not mean to scare you. I will move." "No, wait," Tae-young said quickly. He looked at the alien, then at the plastic container in his hands. The steam still rose from it. The smell of noodles filled the air. Tae-young knew he should walk away. These were his noodles. He worked 16 hours for these noodles. He was hungry. He had no money left. Tomorrow he would be hungry again until he earned more credits. But the alien looked so weak, so alone, and it was raining so hard. Tae-young made a decision. He opened the container and used the plastic fork to divide the noodles into 2 halves. It was not easy because there were not many noodles to begin with. He pushed half toward the alien. "Here," he said simply. "You should eat." The alien stared at the food. Then he stared at Tae-young. His galaxy eyes grew wider. "You give me food?" the alien asked. He sounded shocked. "But you have so little." "You have nothing," Tae-young replied. He sat down next to the alien on the wet ground. The rain continued to fall on both of them. "That makes you need it more than me." For a long moment, the alien did not move. Then slowly he reached out and took the container. His hands shook a little. He picked up some noodles with his long fingers and ate them slowly. A small sound of relief came from his throat. They sat together in silence, sharing the meal. Tae-young ate his half slowly, trying to make it last. The alien did the same. The rain fell. The city made its usual noises around them. Hover cars flew overhead. Someone shouted in the distance. Music played from a bar down the street. "My name is Kale," the alien said after a while. His galactic common was getting better, like his brain was waking up after getting some food. "I am Tae Young," the young man replied. "Where are you from?" "Far away," Kale said. He looked up at the sky, but the rain and clouds hid the stars. "Very far away, and you?" "You are human. Earth is your home?" "Yes," Tae Young nodded. "I live here in the lower districts. I work a lot. I need to send money to my sister. She is sick and needs medicine. The doctors are expensive. You have a sister?" Kyle asked. His voice became warmer. "That is good. Family is important." "Her name is Jiwoo," Taeyong said. A small smile appeared on his tired face when he thought about her. "She is only 14. She has a sickness in her blood. The medicine costs so much money, but I will get it for her. Someday I will have enough." Kale listened carefully. He watched Taeyong's face while he talked. The young human's eyes showed love when he spoke about his sister, even though his whole body showed exhaustion. They finished eating. The container was empty. Both of them were still hungry, but it was better than before. "Thank you," Kale said. He turned to face Taeyong directly. "You did not have to do this. Most beings would walk past. They would think I was garbage. Trash to ignore." "You are not garbage," Taeyong said firmly. "You are a person. Everyone deserves kindness." Kyle stared at him for a long time. Something changed in those galaxy eyes. Something that looked like surprise and sadness and hope all mixed together. Then Kale did something strange. He placed his long glowing hand over Taeyong's heart. The silver light grew a little brighter. Warmth spread through Taeyong's chest. "This is how my people say thank you for a great gift," Kale explained. "You have a good heart. The universe sees this. I see this." He spoke something in his own language. The words sounded like music and wind and starlight. Taeyong did not understand them, but they sounded beautiful. Kale reached into his torn robes and pulled out a small stone. It was smooth and round, about the size of a coin. A soft light pulsed inside it, matching the rhythm of a heartbeat. "Please take this," Kale said. He placed the stone in Taeyong's hand. "A gift. To remember that kindness is never wasted." "I cannot take this," Taeyong protested. "You might need it." "I need you to have it," Kale insisted. His voice became serious. "Please, it would honor me." Taeyong looked at the small stone. It felt warm in his hand. The light inside it was pretty. He closed his fingers around it and nodded. "Thank you," he said. Kale stood up slowly. He was very tall, at least 7 feet. Even in his dirty robes, even weak and tired, he had a strange dignity about him. He looked down at Taeyong with those swirling galaxy eyes. "Perhaps we will meet again," Kale said softly. "The universe works in mysterious ways." "I hope you find food and shelter," Taeyong replied. "Be safe," Kale smiled. Then he turned and walked away into the rain. Within moments, he disappeared into the darkness of the alley. It was like he was never there at all. Taeyong sat there for a minute more. The rain kept falling. His stomach still felt hungry. His clothes were soaked completely now. He would probably get sick from sitting in the cold rain, but somehow he felt warm inside. He looked at the small stone in his hand. The light pulsed gently. He put it in his pocket and stood up. The walk home was long and cold. When Taeyong finally reached his pod apartment, he was shivering. The apartment was tiny, just a bed and a small bathroom, but it was dry. He changed into dry clothes and lay down on the bed. Before he fell asleep, he thought about the alien named Kale. He hoped the old Velthari would be okay. The universe was hard for everyone, especially for those with nothing. Taeyong did not know that sharing his noodles that night would change his life forever. He did not know that the homeless alien was the most powerful being in the galaxy. He did not know that kindness, real kindness, was the rarest treasure in the universe. All he knew was that he had done the right thing. And that was enough. The stone in his pocket pulsed with light like it agreed. 2 weeks passed. Taeyong almost forgot about the alien in the alley. Almost, but not quite. Sometimes, late at night, he would take out the small stone Kale gave him. It still glowed softly in the dark. The gentle light helped him fall asleep after long days of work. Life continued as it always did. Wake up at 5 in the morning. Deliver packages until noon. Wash dishes until 6 in the evening. Carry cargo boxes at the spaceport until midnight. Sleep for 4 hours. Do it all again. His friend Hyun-woo worked at the spaceport too. They carried boxes together on the night shift. Hyunwoo was 2 years older than Tae-young, but they became friends quickly. Both of them were poor. Both of them worked hard. Both of them dreamed of a better life someday. One night, Hyunwoo was very excited. He kept talking while they loaded heavy boxes onto a transport ship. "Did you hear the news?" Hyunwoo asked. His eyes were wide. "The Velthari are coming to Earth." "Velthari?" Tae-young repeated. He thought about Kale immediately. "What for?" "Not just any Velthari," Hyunwoo continued. He grabbed Tae-young's arm. "The Supreme Chancellor himself, Chancellor Kale Vorn, the richest being in the entire galaxy." Tae-young stopped moving. "The richest?" "Yes." Hyunwoo nodded fast. "He controls everything. All the trade routes. All the big companies. They say he has more money than entire planets. He owns 40% of all galactic business." 40%! "Why is he coming here?" Tae-young asked. He picked up another box, but his mind was elsewhere. "Nobody knows," Hyunwoo said. "The Velthari Chancellor has not visited Earth in 200 years. Everyone is talking about it. There will be huge ceremonies. All the Earth leaders will meet him. It is a really big deal." Tae-young thought about this information while he worked. A Velthari Chancellor. The name was even similar, Kale Vorn. But no, that was stupid thinking. The homeless alien he met could not possibly be the same person. The Chancellor was the richest being alive. Why would he sit in a dirty alley in the rain? The night ended. Tae-young went home. He was too tired to think about chancellors and rich aliens. He fell asleep immediately. The next morning changed everything. Tae-young woke up to loud banging on his door. He jumped out of bed, scared. Nobody ever knocked on his door. He had no friends who visited. He owed no money to anyone. Who could it be? "Open the door," a voice commanded. The voice was firm but not angry. Tae-young opened the door slowly. His heart beat fast. Outside his tiny apartment stood 4 aliens in armor. Beautiful shining armor that looked like it was made of liquid silver. They were Velthari. Their skin glowed brightly, not weak like Kale's had been. They carried weapons that hummed with energy. "Are you the human called Tae-young?" one of them asked. The Velthari spoke perfect galactic common. "Yes," Tae-young whispered. His mouth felt dry. "What did I do wrong?" "You did nothing wrong," the Velthari said. His face was hard to read. "You will come with us. The Supreme Chancellor wishes to see you." "The Chancellor?" Tae-young felt confused. "Why?" "I do not understand." "You will understand soon. Please come now. We have a ship waiting." Tae-young wanted to refuse. He wanted to ask more questions. "But you did not say no to armed guards. You especially did not say no to guards who worked for the richest being in the galaxy." "Can I change clothes?" Tae-young asked. He was wearing old sleeping clothes. "No time," the guard said. "We must go now." They walked through the lower districts. People stared. 4 glowing aliens in armor and 1 poor human boy in old clothes. It was a strange sight. Tae-young felt embarrassed. He felt scared. He felt confused. They reached the spaceport. But they did not go to the normal areas where Tae-young worked. Instead, they went to a special landing pad, the kind reserved for important people, the kind Tae-young had only seen from far away. A small shuttle waited there. It was beautiful, silver and white. It looked like a piece of art, not a machine. The guards led Tae-young inside. The shuttle flew up through the atmosphere, up into space. Tae-young pressed his face against the window. He had never been to space before. He had spent his whole life on Earth, dreaming about the stars but never reaching them. And then he saw it, the Imperial flagship. It was not a ship. It was a floating city, massive beyond belief. It looked like someone had built a mountain in space and covered it with crystals and lights. Towers rose from the hull. Gardens could be seen through transparent domes. Thousands of smaller ships flew around it like insects around a flower. "That is the Chancellor's ship," one guard said. He noticed Tae-young staring. "The Eternal Dawn. It is home to 50,000 people." Tae-young could not speak. He had never seen anything so beautiful or so big. The shuttle docked inside a bay. The guards led Tae-young through corridors that looked like they were made of glass and starlight. Everything glowed. Everything was clean. The air smelled like flowers Tae-young had never smelled before. Other aliens walked past. They wore fine clothes. They looked at Tae-young with curious or disgusted faces. A dirty human boy in sleeping clothes. What was he doing here? They walked for what felt like forever. Finally, they reached a large door. The door was covered with strange symbols that glowed and moved. "Wait here," the guard said. He pressed his hand against the door. It opened silently. Inside was a garden. An actual garden inside the ship in space. Trees grew toward a false sun. Water flowed in streams. Birds sang. Real birds, not machines. Flowers bloomed in colors Tae-young had no names for. And sitting on a bench near a small pond was an alien. A Velthari. His skin glowed with bright silver light. He wore robes of pure white that seemed to be made of light itself. His face was calm and wise. His galaxy eyes looked at the water, watching small fish swim. "Come closer, Tae-young," the alien said. His voice was familiar. Very familiar. Tae-young walked forward slowly. His legs felt weak. As he got closer, he looked at the alien's face more carefully. Those eyes. Those galaxy eyes with swirling colors. He knew those eyes. "Kale?" Tae-young whispered. The alien smiled. It was a warm, gentle smile. "Yes, but my full name is Kalevorn. I am the Supreme Chancellor of the Velthari Empire, and you, young Tae-young, showed me great kindness 2 weeks ago in the rain." Tae-young felt dizzy. He sat down on the ground because his legs would not hold him anymore. You were pretending? To be homeless?" Kale stood up and walked over to Tae-young. He sat down on the grass next to him, not caring that his beautiful robes touched the ground. "I was not pretending to be homeless," Kale said gently. "I truly was homeless in that moment. I had no shelter. I had no food. I had no help. Everything else about me, my title, my wealth, my power, all of that was far away. In that alley, I was just an old alien in the rain. But why?" Tae-young asked. His mind was spinning. "Why would you do that?" Kale looked up at the false sky in the garden. "I do this sometimes. Every few years I disguise myself and walk among common people. I make myself powerless and poor. I want to see the truth of the galaxy. The truth that nobody shows to a chancellor." "What truth?" Tae-young asked quietly. "The truth about kindness," Kale replied. "When you are powerful, everyone is kind to you. But they are kind because they want something. They smile because you can help them. They give because they hope to receive. I needed to know, is there real kindness left in the universe? The kind that expects nothing back?" Tae-young understood now. "So you were testing people?" "Yes," Kyle admitted. "For 300 years I have done this. I have walked as a beggar on 100 worlds. I have asked thousands of beings for help." He paused. His voice became sad. "And in all that time, only 7 beings helped me. 7 out of thousands. You are the 7th. Only 7? Tae-young felt shock and sadness. "That is terrible." "Yes," Kyle agreed. "It is terrible. It tells me that my empire, for all its wealth and power, has lost something important. Compassion. Real compassion. The kind you showed me." He looked at Tae-young with those ancient swirling eyes. "You were tired. You were hungry. You had worked 16 hours. You had almost no money. That food was all you had, and yet you shared it with a stranger. An alien stranger who looked sick and dirty. You did not ask who I was. You did not ask for anything back. You just gave." Tae-young felt uncomfortable with the praise. Anyone would have done the same. "No," Kale said firmly. "They would not. That is the problem. That is why you are here." He stood up and gestured for Tae-young to stand too. "I want to offer you something. A position. Be my liaison to humanity. Help me understand your people better. Help me see the truth of Earth, especially the lower districts where real life happens." "I do not understand," Tae-young said. "I am nobody. I know nothing about politics or business or being a liaison." "You know about being human," Kale replied. "You know about working hard. You know about being poor but staying good. You know about choosing kindness even when it hurts. That is what I need. Not politicians. Not business people. I need someone who understands real life." "But the position pays well," Kale interrupted gently. "Very well. Enough to cover your sister's medical treatments. The best doctors in the galaxy. Jiwoo will be healthy." Tae-young froze. "You know about Jiwoo?" "I researched you after our meeting," Kyle said. "I wanted to understand who you really are. I learned about your sister, about her sickness, about how you work 3 jobs to save money for her medicine." His voice became soft. "Let me help you, Tae-young. You helped me when I needed it. Let me return that kindness." Tae-young felt tears in his eyes. Jiwoo could be healthy. Really healthy. The constant worry, the constant fear that he would not earn enough money in time, all of that could end. But something felt wrong. This feels like charity, Tae-young said slowly. I do not want to be your pet human. I do not want people to think I am here because you feel sorry for me. Kale smiled. You will earn every credit. I promise you. This will not be easy work. You will face challenges, but you will face them with honor. Nothing about this is charity. You have something valuable to offer. Your perspective, your honesty, your humanity. Tae-young stood there thinking. The garden was so beautiful. The ship was so amazing. Everything seemed like a dream. A poor boy from the lower districts standing in a palace in space, talking to the richest being in the galaxy. He thought about Jiwoo, about her smile, about how she tried to stay brave even when she felt sick, about how she told him not to worry even though he knew she was scared. Okay, Tae-young finally said. I will try. For Jiwoo, and because you were kind to me too. Kale placed his hand over Tae-young's heart again, just like he did in the alley. The warmth spread through his chest. Welcome, Kale said, to a new chapter of your life. Tae-young's new life started immediately. The guards showed him to his quarters on the Eternal Dawn. He expected something small like his pod apartment. Instead, they gave him a room bigger than his entire old building. A real bed, a bathroom with hot water, windows that showed the stars. He sat on the bed and cried, not from sadness, from relief, from the weight of years of struggle finally lifting a little bit. The first thing he did was send a message to Jiwoo. He told her everything, about the alien in the alley, about the Chancellor, about the new job, about how she would get proper medical treatment now. Her response came an hour later. Even through text, he could feel her joy and disbelief. Are you sure this is real? She wrote. This sounds like a fairy tale. It is real, he wrote back. I promise. You will be healthy soon. The next morning, a Velthari female came to his quarters. She was tall and elegant, wearing official robes of deep blue. Her silver skin glowed brightly. Her face was beautiful but cold. Her galaxy eyes looked at Tae-young like he was an interesting but unimportant insect. I am Da-yoon, she said. Her voice was clipped and professional. I am the Chancellor's diplomatic aide. I will be working with you. Hello, Tae-young said. He tried to sound confident but failed. I am Tae-young. I know who you are, Da-yoon replied. Everyone on this ship knows who you are. The pet human that the Chancellor picked up from a gutter. Her words stung. Tae-young felt his face grow hot. I am not a pet. Then prove it, Da-yoon said. She handed him a data tablet. The Chancellor wants you to learn about galactic politics, trade systems, and diplomatic protocols. You have 1 week to study all of this. I will test you after. Tae-young looked at the tablet. It was full of information. Hundreds of pages, charts, graphs, names of planets and species and companies. His head hurt just looking at it. 1 week, he asked. This is too much. Then you are not ready for this job, Da-yoon said coldly. Maybe you should go back to your alley. She turned to leave. Tae-young felt anger rise in his chest. Not at her words, but at her tone. She thought he was worthless. She thought he was here by accident, by luck, not by any merit of his own. I will learn it, Tae-young said firmly. All of it. I will prove I belong here. Da-yoon glanced back at him. For a moment, something flickered in her eyes. Interest, respect. It was gone too quickly to tell. We will see, she said and left. For the next week, Tae-young barely slept. He read everything on the tablet. He studied trade routes and treaties and galactic laws. When he did not understand something, he searched for more information. He asked the ship's computer questions. He took notes. He memorized names and numbers until his brain felt like it would explode. Da-yoon tested him after 7 days. She asked hard questions. Tae-young answered most of them correctly. Not all, but most. He saw surprise on her face, though she tried to hide it. Acceptable, she said. You have a basic understanding now. Tomorrow your real work begins. The real work was harder than studying. Kale wanted Tae-young to show him Earth's lower districts. The places tourists never saw. The places politicians ignored. Tae-young took the Chancellor and a small guard team to the areas where he used to work. They visited homeless shelters. They talked to people who slept on streets. They ate at cheap food stalls. Kale listened to everyone. He asked questions. He took notes. He seemed genuinely interested in these people that the rest of the galaxy forgot about. Word spread quickly. The Supreme Chancellor was visiting poor areas. News cameras appeared. Reporters asked questions. Some people loved it. They thought Kyle was a hero for caring about the poor, but others hated it. Tae-young started to notice people watching him. Important-looking aliens in expensive clothes. They whispered when he walked past. They gave him dark looks. He heard words like charity case and pretender, and human trash. One alien in particular seemed to hate him most. Lord Vexthor. He was Kale's nephew, another Velthari of high rank. Unlike Kale, who dressed simply, Vexthor wore robes covered in jewels. Rings on every finger. His silver skin was polished to an almost blinding brightness. His galaxy eyes were cold and sharp. "You are making a mistake, Uncle," Vexthor said one day in the council chamber. Tae-young was there taking notes. "This human is making you look weak. A chancellor does not spend time with beggars." "I disagree," Kale replied calmly. "A chancellor who forgets his people is weak. A chancellor who only talks to rich nobles is blind." "The human has no education," Vexthor continued. "No experience. No breeding. He does not belong in this court." "He belongs exactly where I say he belongs," Kale said. His voice remained calm but grew firm. "That is the end of this discussion." Vexthor's eyes found Tae-young. The look was pure hatred. Tae-young felt a chill run down his back. He had made an enemy, and a powerful one. 3 weeks after Tae-young started his new job, Kale gave him a special assignment. "I need you to investigate something," the Chancellor said. They were alone in his private garden. "Resources meant for Earth's poor districts are disappearing. Food shipments, medical supplies, money. According to official reports, everything arrives correctly, but people on the ground say they receive very little. Someone is stealing." "You want me to find out who?" Tae-young asked. "I want you to find the truth," Kale replied. "Use your knowledge of the lower districts. Go places that official investigators cannot go. Talk to people who will not talk to authorities. Find out what is really happening." Tae-young agreed. This was something he could do. He knew the streets. He knew how to talk to people like him. People who did not trust officials or aliens in uniforms. He started investigating carefully. He visited the docks where supplies arrived. He talked to workers who unloaded cargo. He followed transport trucks. He asked questions at homeless shelters and food banks. Slowly, a pattern emerged. Supplies arrived on Earth correctly, but somewhere between the spaceport and the distribution centers, quantities decreased. Official records said one thing. Reality showed another. Tae-young dug deeper. He found warehouse workers willing to talk. He offered them safety and protection if they told the truth. They revealed a network of corruption. Human officials and alien business people working together. They stole supplies and sold them on black markets. They kept money meant for the poor. They changed records to hide the theft. And the name at the center of everything, the one who organized it all, was Lord Vexthor. Kale's own nephew was stealing from Earth's poorest people. Tae-young gathered evidence carefully. Witness statements, records, photos. He put everything together in a detailed report. His hands shook when he finished. This was dangerous information. Vexthor was powerful. He had friends. He had resources, but Tae-young had proof. Real proof. He gave the report to Kale privately. The Chancellor read it in silence. His glowing face showed no emotion, but his galaxy eyes grew dark with anger. "You are certain?" Kyle asked quietly. "Yes," Tae-young said. "I checked everything 3 times. Vexthor is guilty." "Thank you," Kale said. "You did excellent work. Leave this with me. I will handle it from here." Tae-young left feeling both proud and worried. He had done his job well. But now what would happen? The next day, everything fell apart. Tae-young was arrested by Earth security forces. They burst into his quarters with guns drawn. They put him in handcuffs. They dragged him away while other people on the ship watched. "What is happening?" Tae-young shouted. "What did I do?" "You are accused of accepting bribes," an Earth officer said. "Evidence shows you took money from criminal organizations. You used your position with the Chancellor to help smugglers and thieves." "That is not true," Tae-young protested. "I was investigating them." "Tell it to the judge," the officer said. They took him to an Earth detention center, threw him in a cell, left him there with no explanation. Tae-young sat on the cold floor, his mind spinning. This was Vexthor's doing. It had to be. The Lord knew about the investigation. He struck first. He created false evidence to destroy Tae-young's reputation and remove him from Kale's side. Hours passed. Then days. Nobody came. Nobody told him anything. On the third day, Tae-young received terrible news. A guard delivered a message. Ji-woo's medical treatments had been canceled. The hospital said there was no money. She was too sick to leave, but they could not help her anymore. Tae-young screamed. He pounded on the cell walls. This was his worst nightmare. Ji-woo suffering because of him, because he tried to do the right thing. Outside the detention center, people protested. Hyun-woo organized them, workers from the lower districts. People who knew Tae-young. People who knew he would never take bribes. They held signs. They chanted his name. News cameras filmed everything. On social media, people debated. Some believed Tae-young was guilty. A poor human got greedy when he saw wealth, they said. He betrayed the chancellor's trust. But others defended him. They shared stories of his kindness. They talked about how he always helped others even when he had nothing. They used a hashtag, Justice for Tae-young. Inside the cell, Tae-young knew none of this. He sat in the dark, alone, thinking he had lost everything. He took out the small stone Kale gave him in the alley. It still glowed softly. He held it tight and whispered, I am sorry. I tried to help. I tried to do good, but I failed. The stone pulsed warmly in his hand like it was trying to comfort him. Somewhere on the eternal dawn, Da-eun was doing her own investigation. She did not like Tae-young at first. She thought he was a charity case. But over the weeks, she watched him work hard. She saw his honest nature. She saw that he truly wanted to help people. When he was arrested, something felt wrong to her. The timing was too convenient. The evidence appeared too quickly. She started digging into the case herself. What she found made her blood run cold. The evidence against Tae-young was fabricated. Poorly but convincingly enough to fool Earth authorities. And the fabrication trail led back to Lord Vexthor's private accounts. Tae-young faced a choice. She was Velthari nobility. Vexthor was her superior in rank. Siding with a human against a Velthari lord could destroy her career. Her family might disown her, but she remembered Tae-young's words during one of their conversations. Everyone deserves truth. Everyone deserves justice. She made her decision. She gathered her evidence. She prepared her report. And she went to find Chancellor Kale. Da-eun stood outside the Chancellor's private chambers. Her hands held a data tablet with all her evidence. Her heart beat fast. What she was about to do could ruin her life, but staying silent would ruin her soul. She pressed the entry request button. Enter, Kyle's voice said from inside. The door opened. Kale sat at his desk looking tired. Papers and holographic displays surrounded him. He looked up at Da-eun and his ancient eyes showed pain. I assume you are here about Tae-young, he said quietly. Yes, Chancellor, Da-eun replied. I have evidence. Evidence that proves his innocence and Lord Vexthor's guilt. Kale's eyes widened slightly. Show me. Da-eun presented everything. Financial records showing the fake evidence was purchased. Communication logs between Vexthor and corrupt Earth officials. Timestamps proving the evidence was created after Tae-young submitted his report. Transaction records showing Vexthor paid the officers who arrested Tae-young. Kale studied it all in silence. His glow grew brighter with anger. His hands clenched into fists. Why did you investigate this? Kale asked. Tae-young is just a human. Vexthor is Velthari nobility. Your people. Da-eun stood straight. Because Tae-young is honest. Because truth matters more than species. Because I was wrong about him at first and I want to make it right. Kale looked at her for a long moment. Then he smiled, a real smile that reached his galaxy eyes. You have grown, Da-eun, he said. Thank you for this. For choosing justice over politics. He stood up and his entire presence changed. The tired old alien disappeared. In his place stood the Supreme Chancellor of the Velthari Empire. Power radiated from him like light from a star. Summon the Galactic Commerce Assembly, Kale commanded, immediately, and bring Lord Vexthor to me. Now. Within hours, the massive assembly chamber on the Eternal Dawn filled with representatives from dozens of species. Humans, Velthari, blue-skinned Antauri, crystalline Shorin, furry Maleki. They all came confused about this emergency meeting. Vexthor arrived looking confident. He wore his most expensive robes. His jewels sparkled. He thought he had won. He thought Tae-young was destroyed and his uncle would never discover the truth. The chamber fell silent when Kale entered. He walked to the central platform where all could see him. His face was stern. His galaxy eyes blazed with controlled fury. "I called you here to witness justice," Kale announced. His voice filled the chamber without shouting. "For too long, corruption has spread through our systems like a disease. Today we cut it out." He activated a holographic display. Images appeared in the air. Records, transactions, communications. All of Vexthor's crimes laid bare for everyone to see. "Lord Vexthor," Kyle said, his voice like ice. "You stand accused of theft, fraud, bribery, and conspiracy. You stole from Earth's poorest citizens. You framed an innocent person. You betrayed your oath and your family. What do you say?" Vexthor's confident expression crumbled. His silver skin paled. His galaxy eyes darted around the chamber looking for allies. He found none. The evidence was too strong. Everyone could see it. "Uncle, please," Vexthor said. His voice shook. "I can explain." "There's no explanation," Kale interrupted. "Only consequences. You are stripped of all titles, all wealth, all authority. You will be tried under galactic law and punished accordingly." Guards surrounded Vexthor. He struggled. He shouted. He promised revenge. But they took him away, and his voice faded into nothing. Kale then revealed everything else. The entire corruption network spanning multiple systems, other nobles and officials involved, human and alien criminals working together. It was vast, shocking. Many in the assembly gasped as the full scope became clear. "This ends now," Kale declared. "We will investigate every connection. We will prosecute every criminal, and we will return what was stolen to those who need it most." He paused, then continued with a softer voice. "I also owe an apology. To Earth, to the lower districts, and especially to a young human named Tae-young, who tried to expose this evil and was punished for his honesty." The chamber erupted in discussion. Cameras broadcast everything across the galaxy. Within minutes, news of the scandal spread to billions of beings. Kale left the assembly and went directly to Earth. He took a small shuttle to the detention center where Tae-young was held. He did not send guards. He went himself. The detention center staff nearly fainted when they saw the Supreme Chancellor walk through their doors. "Release Tae-young immediately," Kale commanded, "and arrest the officers who imprisoned him on false charges." They rushed to obey. Tae-young's cell door opened. He looked up, confused, expecting another interrogation. Instead, he saw Kale. "Chancellor?" Tae-young's voice was rough from days of crying. "Come," Kale said gently. "You are free. You were always innocent." Tae-young stumbled out of the cell. Kale caught him and helped him walk. They went outside where protesters still gathered. When the crowd saw Tae-young with the Chancellor, they erupted in cheers. Yinwoo pushed through the crowd and hugged his friend. "I knew you were innocent. I told everyone." "My sister," Tae-young said urgently. "Jiwoo." The hospital stopped her treatment. "Already handled," Kale assured him. "I sent our best doctors to her this morning. She is receiving the finest care in the galaxy. She will be healthy soon." Tae-young finally broke down completely. He cried. Not from sadness this time, but from overwhelming relief. Kale held him like a father holds a son and let him cry. Later, after Tae-young had rested and recovered, Kale explained everything. About Dayun's investigation, about the evidence she found, about the assembly and Vexthor's arrest. "I am sorry," Kale said. "I should have protected you better. I should have seen Vexthor's corruption sooner." "You did protect me," Tae-young replied. "You found the truth. You exposed the lies. That is all I wanted." "Still," Kale said, "you suffered because of me, because I asked you to investigate. That weighs on my heart." They sat in Kyle's garden on the Eternal Dawn. The same garden where they first talked after the alley. Dayun was there too, having earned a place in their inner circle through her courage. "The galaxy is talking," Dayun said. She showed them her tablet with news feeds. "Everyone knows what happened. Many people are saying interesting things." The news was full of debates about humanity, about Tae-young's actions, about how a poor human showed more integrity than rich nobles from advanced species. One article's headline read, "Human refuses to break even under false imprisonment." Another said, "What can advanced species learn from Earth's poor?" The phrase "humanity fuck yeah" started trending on galactic social media. Beings from dozens of species shared stories of human kindness, human stubbornness, human loyalty. The little species that everyone had underestimated was showing qualities that put others to shame. "You have become a symbol," Kale told Tae-young. "A symbol of what the galaxy should be: honest, compassionate, strong." "I do not want to be a symbol," Tae-young said. "I just want to help people." "Then you are exactly the right symbol," Da-yoon said with a small smile. Tae-young visited Jiwoo the next day. She was in a private medical facility on Earth, the best that Velthari science could provide. She looked better already. Color had returned to her face. Her eyes were bright. "Brother!" she cried when she saw him. She tried to get out of bed, but he rushed to her. "Stay still," he said, hugging her carefully. "You need to rest." "The doctors say I will be cured completely," Jiwoo said. Tears of joy ran down her face. "Really cured? Not just managing the sickness, actually cured." "I know," Tae-young said. He was crying too. "I told you I would take care of you." "You did more than that," Jiwoo said. She looked at him with pride. "You changed the world. The nurses tell me everyone is talking about you. My brave big brother." They sat together for hours, catching up on everything. Jiwoo told him about the doctors and the amazing treatments. Tae-young told her about his adventures in space, about the garden, about meeting strange aliens. He did not tell her about the false arrest or the dark days in the cell. She did not need to know about that. She had suffered enough. Now she only needed to heal. Back on the Eternal Dawn, Kale was having his own important conversation. The Galactic Council contacted him with a proposal. "Earth's reputation has improved dramatically," the council leader said via hologram. "The Tae-young incident has made many species reconsider their opinions about humans. We wish to increase Earth's status in the galactic community. Better trade agreements, more representation, more respect." "That is good," Kale replied. "Humans deserve better treatment. They are a young species but show great potential." "There is discussion about formalizing this change," the council leader continued. "Creating policies that recognize species not just by their technology or wealth, but by their character and values." "The alley test," Kale said thoughtfully. "That is what I call it. Would you help someone suffering in an alley with nothing to gain? That reveals true character." "Indeed," the council leader agreed. "Your human passed that test. And in doing so, he challenged all of us to examine ourselves. We are listening." After the call ended, Kale sat in his garden thinking. He looked at the small stone on his desk, the one he gave Tae-young, who had returned it, saying, "You should keep this. It belongs with you." But Kale had insisted, "No. It recorded everything from that night in the alley. Your kindness, your words, your heart. It is evidence that goodness still exists. Keep it safe." The stone pulsed gently as if agreeing. Kyle smiled. His test had worked. In 300 years of searching, he finally found what he needed. Proof that the galaxy had not lost its soul. Proof that kindness still mattered. Proof that one poor boy with a good heart could shake the foundations of empire. Change was coming. Real change. And it started in a rainy alley with a bowl of shared noodles. The universe was watching now. Watching a human. Watching humanity. And what they saw gave them hope. 6 months had passed since the scandal. 6 months since Vex Thor's arrest. 6 months since everything changed. Tae-young stood on a balcony of the Eternal Dawn looking down at Earth. His Earth. It looked so beautiful from space. Blue and white and green. A small planet that held 8 billion humans who were just beginning to understand their place in the galaxy. Behind him, his new office buzzed with activity. The office of the Kalevorn Foundation for Galactic Welfare. It was a fancy name for a simple idea. Help people who needed help. All people, all species, everywhere. Tae-young was the director. He still could not believe it sometimes. A poor delivery worker now controlled a foundation with resources that could feed entire planets. The responsibility terrified him. But he was not alone. Tae-young, Hyunwoo called from across the office. His friend had joined the foundation immediately. He was the assistant director now, bringing his street-smart knowledge to help design programs that actually worked. "The new shelter on Antar Prime is ready. They want you to come for the opening ceremony." "Another one?" Tae-young asked. He smiled. This was the 15th shelter they had opened across the galaxy. Each one provided food, housing, and job training to homeless beings. That is great news. Jiwoo walked into the office carrying data tablets. She was completely healthy now. Her blood disease was cured. The doctor said she would live a normal, long life. She had decided to study galactic medicine so she could help others the way she was helped. "Brother, the reports from the food distribution centers are in," she said. Her voice was strong and happy. "We fed 2 million beings this month across 30 systems. That is 15% more than last month." "Good," Tae-young said. He took the reports and reviewed them. Even after 6 months, he still read every report personally. He wanted to understand where every credit went, how every program performed. He never forgot what it felt like to be hungry and helpless. Daeon entered the office next. She had become co-director of the foundation after proving her courage and integrity. Her family had been angry at first when she chose to work with humans, but now they were proud. She had brought honor to them in a different way than they expected. "The Galactic Council approved our proposal," Da-eun announced. Her galaxy eyes sparkled with excitement. "They are implementing the character recognition protocol. Species will now be evaluated not just on technology, but on social values, compassion, and ethical treatment of their citizens." "Really?" Tae-young felt his chest swell with pride. "They actually agreed?" "Yes," Da-eun confirmed. Earth status just increased 3 levels. Humans now have full voting rights in the council, better trade agreements, protection from exploitation, everything we asked for. The room erupted in celebration. Staff members cheered. Hyunwoo hugged everyone. Jiwoo cried happy tears. Even Da-eun, usually so composed, allowed herself a wide smile. Tae-young thought about what this meant. 6 months ago, humans were seen as a primitive species, poor, weak, unimportant. Now they had a voice. Now they mattered. And it started because he shared his noodles with a stranger in the rain. The foundation operated on a simple principle that Tae-young insisted on. Those who have known poverty best understand how to fight it. They hired former homeless individuals from every species as advisors and field agents. These people knew the reality of life on the streets. They knew what actually helped and what was just empty charity. Their input shaped every program the foundation created. They opened shelters that felt like homes, not prisons. They provided job training and skills that were actually needed. They offered medical care without judgment. They gave food with dignity, not pity. Other organizations studied their methods. Governments asked for advice. The foundation became a model for how to help people effectively. But Tae-young knew the real secret to their success was not methods or money. It was respect. They treated everyone with respect. Rich or poor, human or alien, famous or forgotten, everyone deserved dignity. One afternoon, Kale summoned Tae-young to his private chambers. The young human found the Chancellor sitting in his garden, looking older than usual. Even Velthari, who lived for thousands of years, eventually grew tired. "Sit with me," Kyle said gently. Tae-young sat on the grass beside him, just like they did 6 months ago when the truth was revealed. "I am going to retire soon," Kyle said quietly. "My time as Chancellor is ending. I have served for 800 years. That is enough. Who will replace you?" Tae-young asked, though he felt sad. Kale had become like a father to him. Kale turned and looked at him with those ancient, wise galaxy eyes. "I want it to be you," Tae-young froze. "What? No, I cannot. I am human. I am too young. I do not know enough." Fauster Kale interrupted gently. "Listen to me. I have thought about this carefully. The galaxy does not need another old politician. It does not need someone who knows every law and treaty. It needs someone with a good heart. Someone who understands real suffering. Someone who chooses kindness even when it is hard." "But I am not qualified," Tae-young protested. "You are the most qualified," Kale replied. "Do you know what makes a good leader? Not knowledge. Not experience. Not even wisdom. It is the ability to see people as they truly are. To care about them. To fight for them. You have that ability." "The council would never accept a human chancellor," Tae-young said. "They already suggested it," Kale revealed, "after everything that happened. After seeing what you accomplished with the foundation, they believe you represent the future. A future where species work together. Where compassion matters more than tradition." Tae-young sat in silence, his mind spinning. Supreme Chancellor. Him. the boy who used to deliver packages and wash dishes and sleep in a pod apartment. It seemed impossible. I need time to think, Tae-young said finally. Take all the time you need, Kyle replied. Just know that I believe in you. The galaxy believes in you. Now you need to believe in yourself. That night, Tae-young could not sleep. He walked through the Eternal Dawn's corridors, thinking. He ended up in one of the observation decks, staring at the stars. Da-yoon found him there. She stood beside him in comfortable silence for a while. He asked you, did he not? She said finally. About becoming chancellor? How did you know? Tae-young asked. He asked my opinion weeks ago, Da-yoon said. I told him you would be perfect. You would also be terrified. Both things are true. I do not know if I can do it, Tae-young admitted. It is too big. Too important. Do you remember what you told me once? Daeyeon asked. When I was doubting whether to help you against Vexthor, you said everyone deserves truth and justice. You said doing the right thing is always worth the risk. That is different, is it? Daeyeon challenged. The galaxy needs someone who believes those words, someone who will not forget them when they have power. You are that someone. She placed her hand over his heart in the Velthari gesture of respect and trust. You already changed the galaxy, Tae-young. You already proved that one person's kindness matters. Now you have a chance to do even more. Do not run from it. Tae-young thought about her words for days. He talked to Ji-woo, who told him she would support whatever he decided. He talked to Hyun-woo, who said he was crazy to even hesitate. He talked to the people the Foundation helped, who told him their lives were better because he cared. Finally, he made his decision. He went to Kale and said, I will try. I will probably make mistakes. I will probably fail sometimes. But I will try to be the chancellor you believe I can be. Kale smiled with pure joy. That is all anyone can ask. The transition took 3 months. Tae-young studied harder than he ever had in his life. He learned about every species in the galactic community, every trade agreement, every treaty, every law. His brain hurt constantly, but he kept going. Da-yoon helped him prepare. Hyun-woo kept the Foundation running smoothly while he studied. Ji-woo made sure he ate and slept and did not kill himself from stress. The coronation ceremony was held on the Velthari homeworld. Thousands of beings attended, representatives from every major species, media from across the galaxy. It was the biggest event in centuries. Tae-young stood on a platform in front of everyone, wearing the ceremonial robes of the Supreme Chancellor. They felt heavy and strange. He felt like a child playing dress-up. Then he looked out at the crowd. He saw humans and aliens standing together. He saw rich and poor, old and young, powerful and weak, all of them looking at him with hope. He thought about the alley, the rain, the hungry alien who was really the richest being in the galaxy, the choice he made to share his noodles. That choice led to this moment. That simple act of kindness changed everything. Kale stepped forward to place the Chancellor's symbol around Tae-young's neck. It was a crystal that glowed with inner light, similar to the small stone from the alley. You are ready, Kale whispered. Trust yourself. The ceremony completed. Tae-young was now Supreme Chancellor Tae-young of the Velthari Empire. The youngest chancellor in history. The first human. The boy from the streets who rose to lead the galaxy. His first act as chancellor was to give a speech. He had written it himself, refusing help from professional writers. I stand before you today not because I am special, Tae-young began. His voice carried across the massive hall. I am here because someone saw value in me when I had nothing. Because someone chose kindness over convenience. Because someone believed that who you are matters more than what you have. He paused, looking at Kale. My predecessor taught me something important. He taught me the alley test. If you see someone suffering in an alley with nothing to gain from helping them, do you stop? Do you care? That simple question reveals everything about character. I was in that alley once, desperate, struggling, working myself to death for pennies. And yet, when I saw someone who needed help, I stopped. I gave what little I had, not because I expected reward, but because it was right. That is what makes humanity special. Not our technology, not our strength, not our intelligence. We are not the best at any of those things, but we care. Even when we have nothing, we care. Even when we are afraid, we care. Even when it costs us everything, we care. I want to build a galaxy on that principle, a galaxy where we measure success not by wealth but by compassion, where we judge species not by their weapons but by their kindness, where power is used to protect the weak, not exploit them. I am just one person. I will make mistakes. But I promise you this, I will never forget where I came from. I will never forget what it feels like to be hungry and cold and desperate. And I will never stop fighting for those who are still in that alley waiting for someone to care. The hall was silent for a moment. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Then everyone. The applause grew into a roar that shook the building. Tae-young saw humans in the crowd crying with pride. He saw aliens of every species showing respect. He saw Ji-woo beaming at him. He saw Hyun-woo cheering wildly. He saw Da-eun nodding with approval. And he saw Kale, the old chancellor, watching him with those ancient galaxy eyes full of satisfaction and hope. 1 year later, Tae-young's policies were showing results. The Foundation had expanded to operate on 200 worlds. Poverty rates dropped across multiple systems. Corruption decreased as the character recognition protocol held governments accountable. Species that used to fight began working together. It was not perfect. There were still problems, still hunger, still injustice, but things were better, measurably better. One night Tae-young returned to Earth for the first time as Chancellor. He dismissed his guards and walked alone through New Seoul Station. The same streets where he used to work. The same alleys where he used to struggle. He stopped at the noodle shop. Mrs. Park was still there, still serving cheap noodles to poor workers. She nearly fainted when she recognized him. "Chancellor," she gasped. "You came back." "I wanted to eat here again," Tae-young said simply. "1 bowl of vegetable noodles, please. The small size." She served him with shaking hands. Tae-young sat at the small counter and ate slowly, savoring every bite. It tasted the same. Simple, cheap, perfect. After eating, he walked to the alley, the same alley where he met Kale. It looked the same, still dirty, still dark, still cold, but this time the alley was empty. No one sat there suffering. The shelters were full of people getting help. The programs were working. Tae-young smiled. This was what success looked like. Not empty alleys because everyone was rich. Empty alleys because everyone had help. A young human boy, maybe 10 years old, walked past. He stopped and stared at Tae-young, recognizing him from news broadcasts. "You are the Chancellor," the boy said, eyes wide with wonder. "Yes," Tae-young replied. "Is it true you used to be poor like us?" the boy asked. "Yes," Tae-young said again. "Very poor. I worked very hard and still barely had enough to eat." "What changed?" the boy asked. Tae-young thought about the question. What changed? Everything and nothing. He was in a different position now with power and resources. But inside, he was still the same person who shared his noodles in the rain. "I met someone who saw my value," Tae-young answered. "Someone who taught me that kindness is the most powerful force in the universe. And I learned that one good choice can change everything." The boy looked thoughtful. "I want to be like you someday." "Then start now," Tae-young said. He reached into his pocket and pulled out some credits. "Use this to help someone who needs it. Someone you do not know. Someone who cannot repay you. That is how you become someone who matters." The boy took the credits carefully like they were precious treasure. "I will, I promise." He ran off into the night. Tae-young watched him go and felt hope bloom in his chest. That boy would remember this moment. Maybe it would inspire him to keep being kind. Maybe he would inspire others. Maybe the cycle would continue, spreading outward like ripples on water. Tae-young looked up at the stars. They did not seem distant anymore. They seemed like home. Millions of worlds. Billions of beings, all connected. All part of one galaxy that was slowly learning to be better. He took out the small stone that started everything. It still glowed softly in his hand, pulsing like a heartbeat. Like a promise, like hope. "Thank you," Tae-young whispered to Kale, who was somewhere among those stars, retired but watching. "Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for teaching me that one act of kindness can change the universe." The stone pulsed brighter, as if Kale heard him and agreed. Tae-young put the stone away and started walking. He had work to do. A galaxy to lead. People to help. A legacy to build. But first, he would walk these streets one more time. To remember. To stay humble. To never forget that he was once a poor boy in an alley who made a simple choice to be kind. That choice saved him. That choice saved the galaxy. And that choice would echo through history, inspiring countless beings to look for their own alleys, their own chances to show compassion, their own opportunities to prove that goodness still mattered. The galaxy was changing one act of kindness at a time, and it all started with a bowl of shared noodles in the rain, the end and the beginning.